Hello all, welcome back to Nitro's Corner. I know it's been a little strange, my release schedule here. It's been a little longer than usual for when I release my videos, but I have some pretty interesting stuff going on. Me and Miss Nitro are in the process of buying our first investment property. So I've been a little busy on the side here, but I have a cool, interesting video I want to come out with you guys today, and it's my top 5 Shonen series from 2020, because as you know, I'm kind of a shonen degenerate, so I've read a lot of shonen this last year. So this is going to be my opinion on my favorite series from 2020. Before we get into that, guys, I have an announcement. My Mushishi giveaway for volumes 1 and 2 is halfway to its target goal of 100 likes. So if you're interested in getting a very rare, very out of print manga series that is honestly becoming one of my favorites, hit the subscribe button and go to the video I'll link right here. Drop a like. Once it gets to 100 likes, that's when I'm going to be revealing the entry for the giveaway. And I mean, while you're at it, might as well drop a like on this video too. So let's get into the video. As you know, there's a lot of shonen series and many of them go on for decades. So we're not going to go over every shonen series, as you know, One Piece has been around forever. It's always one of the top shonen series. So we're going to disregard that. We're also going to disregard things like Demon Slayer that ended in 2020, but has had hype for so long, everybody knows about it. You know, Promised Neverland's kind of in that ballpark. I think we're going to focus primarily on series that either A, started in 2020, or B, kind of started in the surrounding years, you know, maybe 18 or 19, but really hit their stride and their renown in 2020. So let's get into it, guys. So the first series I want to talk about actually started towards the end of 2020 or mid of 2020, around August, I believe. It's a manga series by Togo Goto called Phantom Seer. Many of you probably haven't heard of this series, as it only has, I think, maybe like 14 or 15 chapters out at the moment, but it's honestly becoming a pretty good series. It reminds me a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen, where it takes place from the shaman who kind of battle curses and ghosts and phantoms and whatnot that affect the normal populace. So this series follows a high school girl by the name of Riku Abetsu, who hasn't been introduced to the phantom world yet, although she has this strange connection to the phantom realm where all these phantoms and ghosts are attracted to her, making her what they like to call in this series a beckoning hand, where she has an affinity for phantoms that attract them to her. We haven't really discovered the extent to the beckoning hands yet because the series is still young, but she quickly starts seeing these strange phenomenon happening to her, and she realizes that it's happening more and more frequently. So she decides to reach out to another fellow student by the name of Iroi Kantanagi, who is kind of known to be psychic in a way, but has a very unmotivated personality, if you will. Kantanagi quickly realizes that Riku is a beckoning hand, and albeit not wanting to help out, inevitably helps her out and teaches her the ways of the shaman world. The art style of this series is phenomenal. It is very much kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen and the whole curse and darker theme going on with the art style and the overall story. It definitely isn't as bloody and gory as Jujutsu Kaisen, so if you're not into that thing, maybe this series will be good for you. It's still very young, but I think it has potential to become a pretty cool series, and the Kantanagi siblings are very, very cool, and you will definitely like them. So I recommend this series. I can't really rate it at this point because it hasn't really developed its plot yet, but it definitely is interesting and has attracted my personal likes. So check it out. It's on the Viz app. I think there's only 2 volumes out right now. I'm not sure if they're in English, but you can read it on the online mobile app. Next is Spy X Family. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, have heard of this series by now. It started in the late 2019s, but I think it really hit its renown in 2020. This series is great. It's not my typical series that I review or that I read or generally even like. It doesn't have that supernatural, the horror suspense that I love, as you know, as a degenerate of horror. But what it does have is a blend of all of the shonen tropes into one perfectly mended melting pot of genre. It has comedy, slice of life, action, and a little bit of suspense. This series, for those of you that don't know, takes place in kind of a Cold War-esque city where a spy, a world-renowned spy, is tasked with a mission where he has to create his own family to infiltrate a school and execute an executive of one of the political parties. As you can tell from creating this family, there's lots of... So as you probably can tell from creating this family, there's a lot of genuine, happy and humorous moments. They kind of make this unruly connection that you weren't expecting from this hardened spy. This series is still pretty young. It has 6 volumes out right now. I'm not sure if they're all in English. I have volumes 1 and 2, but I think I've seen up to 4 or 5 in English. I'm not sure if 6 is out yet, but this series is really, really on my radar. It's a highly recommended series by Nitro. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 as of now, and I've only read 2 volumes. I also think it's definitely going to get an anime at some point, so the hype is only going to continue growing with this one. Get on the train while you can before it's too big. Up next, we have another series I don't hear anybody talking about, and I don't know why, because I think it's very good. That is Jigoroku, or Hell's Paradise, by Yuji Kaku, which is a Shonen Jump Plus series that has roughly 11 volumes out, started in the end of 2018. I don't know how many of those are in English because I also read this on the Viz app, so I am currently current on this series. But I think it's very, very good. It's a kind of supernatural, dark horror series, like, as you know, I'm obsessed with. It honestly, borderline berserk level of gore, but it does still have its charm with character development and the connections between the intergroup that kind of forms throughout the series. I will post a video right up here going more in depth on what this series is about if you want to hear it, because I used to do some chapter reviews. I have an in-depth video on describing the series, but a little quick note on it. I like to connect this series to Stone Cold Steve Austin 3:16's Condemned movie, where a bunch of prisoners end up on an island and have a battle to death to try to earn their freedom. That's basically what this series is, where a bunch of hardened criminals captured by the shogunate of Japan is sent to this island to try to find the elixir of life. They quickly realize that this island is overrun with monstrosities, and the battle may not just be between the prisoners to survive. And would they ever really win their life back? I think the shogunate might have some alternative motives going on here. This is a highly recommended series by me. Not a lot of people are talking about it yet. I don't know if this one will get an anime for a while because it is kind of a niche populace. It is a little gory on the berserk level, so it's not going to really touch upon the full shonen. It's not going to really touch upon the full Shonen Jump demographic, as it's a little too dark for that. But I think the series is great. It's kind of a shorter series. I think it'll probably be ending soon, so I recommend checking it out before it does finish. Jigoroku, Hell's Paradise, Yuji Kaku. Check it out. Now, these next 2 were kind of hard for me to decide which order to put them in, because they both, for me, really hit their hype in 2020. I started both of them from chapter 1 within this year and binged the hell out of them. Number 2 may be a surprise, but number 2, I'm putting Jujutsu Kaisen. As you know, I do a lot of videos on Jujutsu Kaisen. I'll link the playlist here. I have deep dives on Gojo, Megumi, Todo, you name it. All the people I love. I also do a weekly chapter review as they release it. But this series, it just couldn't top the one that's at number 1 for me, which we'll get to in a second, because I want to talk a little more about Jujutsu Kaisen. Because Jujutsu Kaisen is phenomenal. I think it's changing the name of Shonen. This one and the one that we'll talk about next. Jujutsu Kaisen just got an anime. You know, I feel like we don't generally see series get animes this quickly, but the hype for Jujutsu Kaisen was just so big and just kind of blew up onto the scene so quickly that they had to capture that momentum, I think. I mean, there definitely is enough content to do like probably another season or 2 from when this one finishes, and the anime is done pretty good as well. I mean, it's literally like frame from frame the manga in some cases, which I love because I hate when they really miss details, especially with the like Akutami's artwork in this manga is phenomenal. I'm really glad that the anime has captured all of that and hasn't really left much to be desired for. If you haven't checked out Jujutsu Kaisen yet, definitely do it, because I'm sure you've seen Gojo's pretty ass face everywhere, all over social media, all over Instagram and YouTube. So definitely just hop on the train, because you will not be disappointed. If you don't like the series, then you'll love the outro, because the outro is honestly my favorite part. It's so just like grooving and shit, like Gojo's like, oh. But please check it out. At least read it, watch it, do something, because it's so fucking good. And now we'll get into number 1, Chainsaw Man. This series I fell in love with. I read it so quickly, probably within a week. I literally read every single chapter. It was like 90 chapters out, read them all in a freaking week. It was so freaking good. I'll tag a video right here talking about how good it is that I came out with a little while ago, because this, I think, is borderline shonen. Like the ecchi scenes, the fan service, the action, the blood, the gore. Jeez, man, like, I don't know how it's a shonen. It's already getting a Studio Mappa anime as well. I don't know how they're going to just do this, because the shonen demographic being a little younger, I think this is pretty edgy and ecchi for that, but it's phenomenal, and I'm glad the Studio Mappa is doing it, because they've been killing it with every anime they have released lately. And I don't think Chainsaw Man is going to, I don't think it's going to let down. I was a little disappointed about the ending. I don't know if any of you have read it yet, but it felt like they kind of just rushed the ending. Apparently there's going to be another part, but still, unless it like just follows from where they left off, it did seem a little mediocre and rushed compared to the rest of the series, because every arc up until that point was absolute straight fire. So hopefully part 2 doesn't let down. If you haven't checked out Chainsaw Man, it's number 1 on my list. It's an 8.59 out of 10 for me right now. Go check it out. If you want to read all of it, it's on the Viz app. If you want to read the manga, there's 11 volumes. I think maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 of them are out in English. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that. There's definitely some out in English. I've seen it at my local stores, but just read it on the Viz app if you want. You can have all the chapters right there. Binge it in a week like your boy Nitro did. So yeah, that's my quick video today, guys. Definitely go hit a like on the last video I posted if you want the Mushishi giveaway. Once it hits 100, your boy's giving it away to some lucky fan out there, guys. Huge. But for now, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay tuned. Love you.